Next few stories are related to the grand opposition alliance in the 2024 elections. The I.N.D.I.A alliance with, remember, parties like the Congress, the SP, the Samajwadi Party, the I.N.D.I.A party, a number of other key parties. The rift within these parties seems to be widening if you are to take a look at the back and forth between the UP Congress chief, I.N.D.I.A, and the Samajwadi Party head, Akhilesh Yadav. A back and forth firing off between the both of them, with the Congress now saying, the Congress UP chief, I.N.D.I.A, now saying that they failed, the Samajwadi Party failed to reach out to backward classes when they were in power. Take a look at what I.N.D.I.A had to say, then we'll connect with reporters for more.
जो व्यक्ति सत्ता में नहीं रहा है वो साइकिल रैली करे या सम्मेलन करे या लोगों को जोड़ने की बात करें, क्योंकि हमने तो सत्ता में रहे नहीं उत्तर प्रदेश में, तो हम कभी एक शासन के माध्यम से या सहयोग के माध्यम से या उनका कुछ ऐसा काम करके, सार्वजनिक काम करके या व्यक्तिगत काम करके, कोई उनको ऐसा हम काम करके अपने साथ जोड़ नहीं पाए, अन्य जातियों को जोड़ नहीं पाए। तो इसका मतलब मैं समझता हूँ कि ये जनता सब देख रही है और बहुत ही माइन्यूटली ऑब्जर्व कर रही है। सरकार में रहते हुए अगर चीज़ों को आपने उनकी को नहीं मदद किया, उनको नहीं जोड़ पाए, या पिछड़ी जात या अति पिछड़ी जात जो थी उसके लिए आप काम नहीं कर पाए, तो मैं समझता हूँ कि ये आपके कार्य करने में कहीं न कहीं लोगों को खोट समझ में आएगा, कहीं न कहीं लगेगा कि नहीं आप वो काम जो करना चाहिए था नहीं कर पाए।
Okay, my colleague Pallavi Ghosh is going to be joining us to bring us more context on this story. Pallavi, if we could just come to you to ask you, this back and forth between I.N.D.I.A, Akhilesh Yadav, it's been continuing for a few weeks now. The Samajwadi Party, the Congress, they were supposed to at one point, it seemed, coordinate on the Madhya Pradesh elections, perhaps discuss seat sharing. That seems right now like a distant past. Can you bring us more context, please?
But Toya, after the last India meeting which took place, there was a deadline which was given, and the deadline was around 30th of September or at least the first week of October, by which they hoped that the seat sharing talks would be finalized. Only one such meeting has been held. No meetings have taken place after that. And in the midst of all of that, there is bad blood. It's very clear that the whole talks have now been derailed. Elections, ongoing elections are I would say, the litmus test rather than being the excuse for not having those seat-sharing talks. And with so much of bitterness and sometimes personal comments between the Samajwadi Party and the Congress, one wonders whether when they get down to the actual job of dividing a seat-sharing and dividing tickets, whether this animosity is actually going to reflect. Because what happens and what is very critical, and this is how SP has always been making, that when you come to Uttar Pradesh, we are going to teach you a lesson. In Uttar Pradesh, it is very important for the Congress, at least in its bastions or former bastions, I would say, of Amethi and Raebareli, that friendly candidates are put up by the SP. If the SP refuses to do that, then it could be yet another disaster for the Congress party, at least in Raebareli, where that's the lone Lok Sabha seat they have. You know, also, if the Congress party does very well in these state polls, Toya, there's a possibility that the Congress may try to flex its muscles, and that some of the other members of the India front, which are little anxious and apprehensive of. So all does not look very well. The seat sharing talk is most probably now going to take place after the last day of polling is over. But yes, I think that strain is something which could have an impact on these talks.
Pallavi, can I ask you to stay with us? We'll come back to you in just a second. I want to share with our audiences more from the I.N.D.I.A alliance. Okay, taking you now to Jammu and Kashmir, where the former Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Omar Abdullah has made a statement about the I.N.D.I.A alliance. He's voicing concerns over the internal strife in the I.N.D.I.A alliance, saying very clearly that all is not well. He said some internal squabbles which should not have been there can be seen, especially in the 4 or 5 states where elections are being held. I believe we actually have what he said. Take a look, then we'll connect with my colleague Pallavi.
अफसोस की बात यह है कि आज इंडिया अलायंस की थोड़ी हालत पतली है। थोड़े अंदरूनी झगड़े जो हैं वो देखने को मिल रहे हैं, जो शायद नहीं होने चाहिए, खासकर इन 4-5 रियासतों में जहां इलेक्शन हो रहे हैं। पिछले दिनों जिस तरह समाजवादी पार्टी और कांग्रेस के दरमियान एक लड़ाई सामने आई और दोनों कहने लगे कि हम यूपी में तमाम सीटों पर लड़ेंगे, ये इंडिया अलायंस के लिए अच्छी बात नहीं है। शायद इन स्टेट इलेक्शंस के बाद हमारी दोबारा मुलाकात होगी, बैठ के कोशिश करेंगे कि अच्छे से मिल के काम करें.
Let's go back to my colleague Pallavi, who was shedding light on the I.N.D.I.A alliance's current power equations. Pallavi, could you tell us what could be the purpose of Omar Abdullah making the statement to the media as he's done?
Because he's also been one of the persons who stressed in that Mumbai meet that we really need to have a deadline as far as the seat sharing talks are concerned. And therefore, parties like him, like the Trinamool Congress, like the, like the I.N.D.I.A party have been stressing on the fact that the longer you delay it, the more the strain is going to have an impact on it. And therefore, his worry also bears from the fact that the comments we're seeing between the SP and the Congress, many parties like the Trinamool Congress being wary of the Congress party. So Omar Abdullah is essentially saying what many of them are not saying openly.
All right, Pallavi, can I ask you to stay with us? One more story about the I.N.D.I.A alliance coming in. Let's take a look. Okay, all right, Pallavi, before we move on, I believe we are going to stay with this story for a second. Can I also ask you, Pallavi, one of the things we're seeing play out in Jammu and Kashmir itself is leaders of the Gupkar Alliance, the People's Alliance for the Gupkar Declaration, also hitting out at each other. Abdullah said he's not uttered a word against anyone, but we have seen a back and forth of sorts play out even there. Can you bring us more context?
Very, very careful with his words vis-a-vis the Congress party, but at times he's been extremely wary of the fact that the stand which has been taken by the Congress, not just vis-a-vis Kashmir, but also vis-a-vis, the entire idea of the India front. In fact, he has often reprimanded the Congress that you have a tendency to act like a big brother, which is you want to call the shots, you want to dictate the shots, which is why, Toya, a short while back I told you that in case the Congress does very well in the state polls, it'll think it's its legitimate right to kind of arm twist and have the upper hand as far as the negotiations during the India front is concerned. This was okay in 2004, which is, you didn't have parties like TMC and all of them being very strong, but today all of them consider themselves to be important and therefore they are powerful and therefore they're not going to listen to any kind of an arm twisting coming in from the Congress, and that is something which could be a problem as far as the seat sharing negotiations are about, and that is where Omar Abdullah's concern and comment comes in from.
Can you also tell our audiences, Pallavi, 5 states are seeing elections in the next few days. Which of these states are going to see alliance partners squaring off against each other from the I.N.D.I.A?
Interesting, because most of these right, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, it's between the BJP and the Congress. In Telangana, it is
okay. Pallavi, I'm sorry, we do have a political phoner in. I'll come back to you in a second. We have Shehzad Poonawala from the BJP joining us. Shehzad, Omar Abdullah from Jammu and Kashmir, former Chief Minister, making this statement publicly to the press. It would have been one thing, obviously, if he'd made this statement at an I.N.D.I.A meeting, as he has in the past, where he said there's a need for coordination. This statement, though, to the press, how do you see it?
Since I have a terrible audio line, I hope I can be heard. Well, this is yet another evidence of how the I.N.D.I.A alliance has no mission or vision. It only has confusion, contradiction and division. And time and again that plays out, whether it's the I.N.D.I.A party versus Congress in Punjab and Delhi, whether it's the Trinamool Congress and left in West Bengal, whether it's the left in Congress in Kerala, whether it's Akhilesh Yadav and Congress in Madhya Pradesh. So this shows that when you have no common vision or mission, you're only fighting for your ambitions and your contradictions are bound to come out. I would suggest through your platform that Rahul ji should forget Bharat Jodo Yatra. Sardar Patel, whom we are celebrating today, has done Bharat Jodo. You start I.N.D.I.A Jodo Yatra. Rahul ji must start a I.N.D.I.A Jodo Yatra. He must go across the country to unite all the I.N.D.I.A alliance partners who are fighting for seat. They are sometimes fighting for PM face. So they should be united by Rahul ji. Rahul ji should take out this yatra.
Okay. Shehzad, thank you. We'll try to get a response from an I.N.D.I.A alliance leader too. Let's